welcome to the Mo podcast.
A place where individual stories come to life.
This is how we need to be communicating with people. This is how we support people's personal development.
It's important to speak about people believing in people.
The more you're able to let go of your limitation, the more you step into your power, your inner authentic power.
Mo, a place for me, others, everyone.
Hello and welcome to the Mo Podventures podcast. Today I'm joined by Luke Kingston. Wow, what a man. His grit and determination know no bounds. A fellow Mo coach and also an 100k ultramarathon runner. Luke truly is a testament to you can do anything that you set your mind to. Having grown up in West London and having different avenues that he could have gone down, rather than choosing the easy route and being accepted as average, Luke chose to break through those barriers and those expectations and break through that glass ceiling. I asked him what possessed him to run an ultramarathon, how he goes through life, his favourite travels, what it was like growing up half Spanish, half British, that did for his identity, and also what happens when you truly do want to break through that glass ceiling. Something that he carries with him today is that anything is possible, something which he goes through every day for his own life and also for his clients. It's a very interesting one if you feel like you've been put in a box and you're ready to break past other people's limiting beliefs that they may carry for you. So let's see what Luke has to say.
Thanks, Kate. That was lovely.
Oh.
I appreciate you. And yeah, really happy to be here.
I'm really happy to have you. Let's just start off and I will ask you in true Mo fashion. Can you tell me about who you are and how you go about life without reference to your age, job title, or relationship to another human being?
I hate and love this question at the same time. Because it's so difficult to answer because every time you're asked, who are you? Those are the things you relate to. So I've had a little think about this question, and what I've thought about is actually something my mum says, and I've realized that I'm leaning into it more and more. And she calls herself a free spirit. So she'll go and do whatever she needs to do. She doesn't let anything hold her back. So I'll definitely say as time goes on, I'm 100% leaning into this being of being a free spirit. I also would say I'm a person who loves to experience different things, new things, and develop things. I think one of the great meanings of life is to experience and to grow. So for me, I learn through experience and by doing. So yeah, I hope that answers it maybe.
Yeah, it does. And I guess we'll unpack more of what it means to you to be a free spirit in this podcast.
100%.
Yeah, so I guess we'll start off with your upbringing and childhood. You've mentioned growing up in West London. Tell me a bit about what that was like.
Definitely character building, I'd say, growing up in West London, especially when I was in high school, because I was surrounded by a lot of different cultures, paths, people who, I mean, I could have gone down any different kind of route, coming from my area, because you can just meet so many different people that are doing so many different things. I would say definitely character development, as in sometimes when I'd be getting the bus home or walking around the school area, you'd see certain people that you'd have to avoid and, put on a brave face. So definitely that is one of the things I do remember quite vividly from my school days. So yeah, that was a bit about West London.
Cool. It's interesting because obviously I don't know anything about London. And Luke doesn't know much about the North. He thought that I was from Sheffield, but let's just breeze past that.
We'll move past that one swiftly.
To be fair, I probably do have a bit of Yorkshire in me. Would you say that you, compared to now versus as a kid, is there a big difference there?
1,000,000%. One of my earliest memories from primary school was me and one of my close friends getting sent to the headmaster's office in reception, which reception is about 4 or 5 years old, just because we were very disruptive and talking and wouldn't listen to the teachers. I definitely feel like I wasn't ready to learn. I wasn't ready to go into school. Maybe I needed more time to just play and just experience a bit more of the world because learning and focusing on different things that I wasn't really interested in wasn't, I think, ideal for me. I know boys mature a little bit slower than girls, so maybe there is something around that. But yeah, one of those earliest memories was getting sent to the headmaster's office and also being in there quite a few times during primary school. My my dad loves to joke with me and say the headmaster I had my own seat in the headmaster's office, which maybe he's proud of that for being a naughty little kid. But yeah, and then moving past primary school, I think I matured in about year 10 when it was just about GCSEs and 15, 16. So I was still, getting involved in silly stuff and misbehaving. But yeah, I definitely say I was starting to mature and see life in a different way, you could call it, by
Mm.
16. And obviously now being 24 is a whole different story.
Yeah, a whole different ball game. I think
Yeah,
there's so much. I mean, to be getting sent to the headmaster's office whilst you're in reception,
I know.
um, not that that's like an achievement or something that's so wrong,
Mm,
but I guess it like we are so young when you go to school, like 4 or 5. And as I've mentioned to you before, like if you have a birthday that's late in the year, but you're just on the cusp of that academic year, and then you can be really young. Like when I used to go to school, apparently I used to fall asleep halfway through the day because I
mm.
was so tired. And I think other cultures, maybe like the Netherlands and like the more what's it called? Like around near Norway and Scandinavian countries, they go to school, I think, when they're 7.
Oh. There's
So
actually,
yeah.
sorry, I was gonna say, because obviously being half Spanish, I know the
Mm,
Spanish school system, and I think this applies to a lot of the European countries as well. But if you fail your end of year exams from whatever year, from year one reception, you get held back
yeah.
the whole year. So obviously in the UK we don't have that. So you move
Oh.
up and up. But in European countries you'll get held back the whole year and have to retake. So
Ah.
so yeah, I think I probably would have definitely had to
Yeah.
retake years because I wasn't ready to
Mm.
learn.
Ah, I didn't know that. I think I knew that they did that later on when you're at college, but not in the UK. If you fail your first year of college, you
Mm.
stay
But
in the first
even
year of
in
college.
primary school they do it.
Wow. Well,
Mm.
yeah, and then I have heard of people in the UK going up a year. Like people have skipped a year because they're so advanced.
Mm.
So I don't know. Maybe the school system's changed, but that's quite interesting.
Mm.
Um, let's still talk about young Luke and see
Okay.
what it was all like. So, um, you have mentioned that whilst you were at school, you were kind of described as an average student, like very much in the middle. Um, and whether that led to you getting less attention or, less was expected of you. But you've mentioned that you decided that you wanted more for yourself. And I think many people, you can go one of two ways. You can either accept what everyone is telling you or how you feel, or you can really go against the grain. And, one is definitely easier than the other. And you definitely give me the impression that you don't always choose the easy option. So what was it that made you decide that you wanted more for yourself? And moreover, like the belief that you could?
Absolutely. And yeah, we had this conversation a little while back where yeah, I gave myself this self-diagnosed average syndrome back when I was in school, and I don't think I realized and fully conceptualized it until I was out of school. And I just remember feeling like I was always just in the middle, like never really overachieving, never underachieving, just being somewhere in the middle. And for me, at the time, it gave me the impression that I was just another individual just on their journey, just nothing really special about me. And and then upon reflection, when I went to leave school, I realized that I wanted more for myself. I wanted to achieve things that like ordinary people wouldn't achieve. So I would always challenge myself to do more and more. And I guess it first started with running and physical activity, and then it went to maybe more mental challenges, and then I guess finding coaching was the next best thing because it challenged my thinking and my ability to work in the moment even deeper. So yeah, I would say the self-diagnosed average syndrome that I say I had was the driving factor for me to want more for myself. So, but obviously living through it in the moment was difficult because
Mm,
you kind of feel that there's not much there for you in the world,
yeah.
and it does kind of drive you to feel little bit alone and a bit outcast. But yeah, I think upon reflection, it was the thing that drove me to do more.
Mm, that's really interesting. Because sometimes when you feel like you're being put in a box, you want to break out of it. And I guess
Mm,
that's how you felt.
100%.
You've mentioned your half Spanish, half English background, just very, very briefly then. Um, what impact do you think it's had on your life? Because obviously you've then got two cultures. Do you think it's enriched your life in knowing two cultures?
Mm. I would say I'm very lucky. Growing up wasn't, but my mindset wasn't like that. I definitely, well, I learned Spanish growing up. My mum taught it to me as a young child, and I would always go to my village in Spain, which is it's just a very countryside, rural village where there's not many people, um, but family are there. So I would go there every year for about a month, up until about COVID, and it was really nice to know that part of my history and that. I think growing up, I had a really big identity crisis, I think you could call it. As in, I didn't really know where I fit, if I was English, if I was Spanish, if I was both. And I didn't know how to manage that and how to be proud of it. And I think growing up is I'm doing research on both my histories and knowing where I come from, asking family members and grandparents different things about my past and their past, has helped me to really be proud of both my cultures and both of my countries.
Mm, that's really nice. I know you touched on breaking through that. I want to call it a box, but you call it the av like self-diagnosed average syndrome.
Mm.
And you said that you first looked to physical activity and then eventually found coaching. Um, what was it in? What drove you to like finding coaching? What did you find in it that really spoke to you?
Mm. So, I mean, I used to work in Weatherspoons, which is a pretty popular pub chain in the UK. And I used to manage, and my area of responsibility was being in charge of the people. So I would help train, I would help mentor the staff coming up to be managers and stuff like that. And at that moment in time, I was searching for my thing, what essentially would be my purpose. I didn't know what purpose meant at the time. I just called it my thing, and I really obsessed over it. And one time I was working, an individual came into the pub who he was a customer at the time, but he's grown to be a really good friend of mine. And I was speaking to him about my role, and he said to me, "Oh, I think you'd be I done a life coaching course, and I think you'd be really good at it." And then I think I had to go and do something. But in my mind, thinking about my thing, thinking about all the work that I've been doing, the obsession, um, the word life coaching just wouldn't leave my brain. So I had a bit of time and I went up to him and I said, "Oh, could you explain to me a bit more about what life coaching is and like how do I get involved? So he explained to me essentially the Mo course. So he introduced me to the Mo course, and he explained the different levels of listening, the coaching kind of frameworks, and how he thought that I would be good at it. So he found a course that a date worked for me, and he put me on the course, essentially helped me get through it. He was my supervisor for the course, and yeah, ever since I went on that course, going into it extremely nervous, knowing that I would probably be like the youngest person there, feeling a bit of imposter syndrome. But then coming out of it, I felt like I found a community that understood me and I could relate to and would tick all the boxes of my thing, which was my purpose. So yeah, I felt like it was the first time because I was searching for that for a good few years. So it was the first time that I felt like I made real progress.
I think it's something a lot of us are searching for, and a lot of us have found in Mo, which is so nice.
Mm,
Um, and it sounds like that person that you met in Spoons has had like the most profound impact on your life. And obviously you're still good friends now.
mm,
Is there anyone else who you feel like has had a really big impact on your life to get to
mm.
where you are today?
I would definitely, I'll be honest, there's been so many people that have helped me along the way. Like I always say, I'm a product of the people that have helped me along the way. And there's one individual, my mentor, Sam, who was a much older guy. He had done a lot of different things in his life, and we had mentoring sessions, and he would teach me different aspects of life, which were what the main one was giving, and how giving starts that receiving process, and how as a life coach we give so much, but in return we do gain so much too from that. Um, and the second one was all about change and understanding who you are, which I thought change was something bad to begin with, but then by seeing them a lot of times and going through different conversations of my life and how I saw things, I realized that change is actually a good thing, and it's good to grow, it's good to
Mm,
change, it's good to evolve. Um, so yeah, if I had to say one person along the journey of coaching, because it was at the very, very start of my coaching career. I was seeing him for a good period of time. And he helped me to really, I think, um, fortify my mindset.
I like that. Fortify.
Mm,
Um, I think it is worth in saying like you see people that are successful and they kind of give that impression, not that they want to, that they've made it on their own. And you don't actually realize that the most successful people have probably had to ask for help so many times, or like you say, like they say it takes a village to raise a child. But like as you go through life, that are like in order to get to places, we think, oh, I'll just do it all myself. But it is in asking for help and using other people's resources and, where you have weaknesses that we do get to where we want to be and have people that bolster us and people that have been there before us that have more wisdom that help us get to where we are today. So I really like you I really enjoy the fact that you've shared that because it's really important to say like, you know, loads of people have
mm.
been the reason of how I've got to where I am today. So that's
I
really
could give you a
nice.
list of hundreds of people, but for time's sake, I'll just
Yeah.
give that example.
I just think it's nice to be like modest and humble in that in saying like loads of people because um yeah, it's just nice to hear, I guess. And you did mention then as you were first coming into your coaching career that you felt imposter syndrome when you first started the Mo course. And I guess I'm going to do like a bit of a backhanded compliment in saying like no one you can really never see anyone's mental health struggle when you see them for face value. Um, and we never know what's going on inside other people's heads. But um, I'd be interested to hear in like how your imposter syndrome and your anxiety and potentially like mental health has shown up for you and how it might have affected you over this time and how you combat it, but how it also shows up for you.
Mm, 100, yeah, I'm happy to share. I guess to start with imposter syndrome, I guess I faced different challenges along the way, and imposter syndrome was one when I first came into the coaching space because I was a new coach. I was trying to, market myself. I was trying to show up as a coach that can help you and can support you, um, but not having as much experience as what I thought was everyone around me. So it kind of left me feeling like I wasn't good enough or would never be good enough, even though all I needed was time. And it was funny because I had a session with a client one time and he was going through imposter syndrome and he realized that imposter syndrome was just growing pains. And as you grow and as you expand and experience more things, you're gonna feel some sort of way because you're not used to it. And I'll always, take that from him, He's a great client. So yeah, grow imposter syndrome for me is growing pains as well.
Mm,
And I
I like
guess
that.
thanks, yeah, it's nice. And in terms of like how my anxiety showed up and I guess self-doubt growing up, which I guess growing up that those were more apparent in my life. There was a lot of feelings of if something good happened to me, there was something bad around the corner about to happen. And there was a lot of feelings of the world being against me, even though it
Mm.
probably wasn't. It was just the world trying to teach me something. Um,
Mm.
when I kind of, I wouldn't say hit rock bottom, but have these bad moments, it wasn't until I met Sam, my mentor, he helped me reframe things. And are you seeing things as a crisis or an opportunity? So he helped me to kind of reframe my whole thinking patterns to keep growing and keep expanding and keep being a better version of myself. And even when the biggest problems or biggest issues arise, there's to know that it's just an opportunity to be better in yourself, and I can choose how to react to these things.
Mm. I like that because change can be quite unsettling and very
Mm,
make you feel so uncertain and sometimes it's hard to embrace. Like you said, you didn't sometimes like change and seeing different things as opportunities and like you said, seeing new opportunities as growing pains
mm,
because you're in a situation that you've never been in before. I think so many people feel like that and like you said, but also would like to add that you wouldn't be in that situation if you hadn't earned it either, but it can also feel like so strange.
I feel like the growth moments that you have in life are when you're sitting in a place or standing or doing something and you think to yourself, what the F am I doing here?
Yeah.
I find myself, yeah, when I'm saying that to myself inside my head, I reflect back and think those are the moments where I've truly grown.
Mm, yeah, they really are because then you kind of go on to more moments like that where you do the same things and you feel more comfortable. But
100%.
you're so right in that like when we're on the edge of our comfort zones, we're like really pushing, that's when, like you say, you're growing. Can you pinpoint a moment where you were at your lowest and what you might say to that person? I know you've literally just referenced like when
Mm,
you were at your lowest, your coach said to you, see this as an opportunity. But looking back, do you have anything that you would now say to yourself
mm.
from being at that point?
I can't actually pinpoint it, and it was a time when I lost my driver's license for speeding, which is all kind of been sorted now. But I just remember feeling very what's the word? Like the whole situation was really unfair to me. Um, even though like stuff happened and I've made my peace with the whole situation. But I remember there was other things going along in life too, and it felt like that was the big
Mm,
like pin drop, um, where everything was going kind of against me, and it was before I found coaching. And I just remember kind of locking myself away in my room and just trying to isolate myself from everything. I didn't want anything to do with anyone. And yeah, when I really reflect back to it, it was quite difficult. Um, and if I was to say anything to myself, if I was to give myself any sort of advice, um, it would be just to keep my head up because you never know when the next opportunity is, when the next door is going to be in front of you that's going to open. And I don't even think it was too far later, maybe like 6 months later or a year later is when I think found coaching, which completely changed my life. So it was it was a really big eye opener to me and to know that um, I, I let me rephrase that. It was really tough to go through at the time, going through different things, but also looking back on it, these moments will shape who you become. And you always have the opportunity on how to choose how you react to certain things. And in that moment, I may have chose to react like a victim and maybe think, oh, all of these things are happening to me. But if I could really change any of that, it would be to have a bit more ownership and responsibility for what I'd done and responsibility of my life, you know. It wasn't in reality, it wasn't like a massive thing. It was just
Mm.
something that just needed to be taken care of, um, which may have taken some time. So yeah, in the big scheme of things, usually the problems that are feeling like really huge in the moment, usually when you think about them, if you were to think about them in 3 months' time, 6 months' time, a year time, they won't be as big.
Yeah. You can say that about so many different things and
Mm.
apply that to so many different things. Did you get your license back?
I have, yes, yes. I've
Yeah.
actually been driving now for 5 years, so
Oh,
we're all good.
sweet.
Insurance is down, and it's good.
Sweet. Good. Because how long had you had your license
This
before?
was when I was 19, I think. Yeah, 19.
So you
So I
had,
was still young, and
but had you had it for a while?
I think I had it for about a year or two. Yeah,
Yeah.
because I remember getting my license pretty early because I love cars and I actually learned to drive when I was 12 in Spain with my
Wow.
uncle. Yeah, so I've always been a fan of driving on the dirt roads.
Ah.
Yeah.
So it was like a real stab in the chest to like,
Oh
obviously it is
yeah.
for so many people, but like the fact that you've learned like you known how to drive since you were 12 to then
Mm,
have been driving for over a year and then have that taken away from you. It's like you must
yeah.
have you must have been very, I mean, obviously, yeah, the concern for your safety and other people's safety, yeah, but you must have also been quite angry because
There was a lot of frustration. I think it was frustration at myself first, which I didn't want to come to terms with, which I think sometimes in situations like that, you do have to face the music and understand that, yes, I was in the wrong. So, but also, it was frustration at the world. And I think that's where the kind of bad moment really came from. It's all good now.
yeah, because if, like you said, it kind of felt like the straw that broke the camel's back, it can be
Oh, yeah.
that when, you've got so many things on your plate that you do act in different ways, like you might have a bit more road rage, or you might snap at your partner, or you might,
Mm,
it just takes that little thing. So, you're obviously going through so much at the time, what it was that it was just that one thing, or you just think, so, it is one of those things that I'm sure could very easily happen. And people do, I don't want to condone speeding, but like that people do every day and get away with. And I think it's becoming more and more apparent now. The world is getting, everyone's a bit more aggressive, but like it is just, I guess, one of those things. But when you're going through like a lot, I know people often, I used to work in customer service, like lash out to you and you're like,
mm.
all right. In fact, even just the other day I was at the gym and this woman like dropped all the stuff and was like, and it was 7:30 in the morning on a Saturday.
Wow.
And I just went, "Oh, are you having a bad day already?" And she went, "You wouldn't believe it." And like, didn't proceed to tell me anything, but just like was saying like her life at the moment is a lot.
Yeah.
And I was like, "Oh, I'm really sorry to hear that, but I hope that you can go and like go to the gym and swim that all away." And then I met up with her an hour later because I was going into school and she was coming out. And I said, "Oh, do you feel better?" And she went, "Oh, I feel so much better. So thank you so much." So I guess like sometimes just the stress can just get on top of us. Anyway,
100%. No, that's what I needed back in the day, you know? Someone to tell me that. But yeah, it was a lesson that was needed to be learnt.
yeah. And obviously you came through that and then saw the light and was like, it's not that much of a big deal. I can
Hmm.
do this. There are ways around it. Everything is going to get better and see the bigger picture.
Exactly.
We're going to keep moving through the podcast pace now, be like. But I'm interested to hear how you show up for your now clients. Like you gain something from one of your clients. I'm just interested to hear like how do you show up for other people? Between like the youth that you work with, the people in prisons, people in universities, you even work with like CEOs and management. Is there a big difference in your approach? Who's Luke like as a coach?
Yeah, I guess I do have the privilege of working with many different people from prisoners to young people to CEOs to staff, pretty much anybody and everybody. Um, I guess the answer to my question of to your question of how am I different or am I different in my approach, it would be yes and no. The way I show up as an individual is always the same. I treat everybody the same, whether you're a prisoner, CEO, I don't care who you are. Everyone will get me, and when I say me, that means someone who's gonna be there for you, gonna listen to you, gonna be kind to you, but also challenge you and help see you change your thinking in a way that will help change your perspective for what you need. So. Yeah, I like to also tailor my approach to some people. Like when I first work with people, I always ask them, how do you want me to show up for you? And maybe give examples of, do you want me to be a bit more direct, a bit more challenging, or do you want me to be a bit more of a listener, a bit more gentle in my approach, and kind of go through what the person wants from me. I find that with young men and men, they want more of this direct, challenging approach, which is fine. And then with women, sometimes it can be the same with challenging, but also can be a bit more gentle as well, um, and a bit more of a listener. So I do try to tailor my coaching style to different people, as in what they need from me, but also the way I show up is me, is Luke Kingston.
I like that. Yeah, I think some of my best mentors have been a bit prickly, and I've had like a good cop, bad cop, like a bit prickly, and then also nice. And like a combination of the two is like the perfect
Mm.
sweet spot. That's just, do you feel like through your actions of obviously we've not even mentioned that you've ran an ultra marathon, which is 100K. But do you feel like through how you go about your life and how you live life and your actions are you're able to be like a bit of a role model for the people that you work with, like particularly like prisons of like breaking through barriers and overcoming what people think is possible for you? Do you feel like you set a good example?
I hope I set a good example. That's not for me to say, I guess. But I always remind people about limitless potential and that everyone has limitless potential. No matter who you are, you can do anything. And sometimes maybe through actions that I've done in my past or actions that other people have done and have shared that can inspire someone to be like, you know what? I can do that and then go and do it. Because sometimes it does take someone else to do something before you then go and decide you can do it. So Yeah, I would definitely say the different things that I've done are just examples of what you can do. I'm not saying that anyone needs to do anything that I've done. I'm just saying that whatever you want to do, that you can do. And that's kind of my whole coaching philosophy is as big as you want to dream, as far as you want to go, I'm willing to go there with you because I believe you can, you know? I believe anyone can do anything, and it doesn't matter where you come from, what card you hold, you can create that lifestyle.
Mm,
Reality is created.
mm. And now, just because I have touched on the ultramarathon, I do just want to ask, how old were you, and why did you decide to run an ultramarathon?
Yeah, that I've got that question a few times before. I was 23. Yeah, 23. It was the end of 2023. If that gives away my age. And why did I want to do it? So I guess the year before, on the 21st of December 2022, I decided to run a marathon with no training. And that was just a thought to push myself, to challenge myself. It was in that phase of what can I do to challenge myself and break barriers, break limits that I never knew I could. And then the following year, I was thinking to myself, okay, the 21st of December 2023 now is coming up. How can I do even better? How can I push myself even further? And it was actually a little bit of a rough time trying to decide what to do because I was getting very much in my head about what to do. There was the option of a 50K, a 75K, or the one that really scared me the most, the 100K, because when you commit to doing an ultra marathon, you're not guaranteed to complete it. The failing rate or like the DNF rate is quite high because there's so many different obstacles. The more time you're running, the more time you're going through these things,
hmm
the more risks you're
Mm,
taking on.
yeah.
So I knew that doing 100K is the most risky, the most
hmm
uncertain, and the most scary to me. And I think from talking to one of my close friends, Theo. I realized that that was what I was supposed to do because everything leading up to that 100K was preparation for the 100K, challenging myself in a triathlon in the marathon with no training, and then going on to a ultra marathon. It was all a part of my journey. So I decided to do it then, and I committed to it, and I set out 12 weeks to prepare and train and slowly increase my mileage per week because obviously you got to be smart about these kind of things. You can't just do it no training because then I probably would have hurt myself a lot. Um, and the training was quite hard and draining, but yeah, it was worth it because the ultra marathon itself, if I think back to the day of, I think it was quite a slow day leading up to it because obviously I wasn't going full on the whole way. I was going quite slow and taking my time. But it wasn't until about 80 kilometers where I really hit a wall. And I would be listening to podcasts and videos of people talking about ultra marathons and what they're like. And they would always refer to, oh, you'll know you're running an ultra marathon when you hit the wall. And when I got to 80 kilometers, having 20 kilometers left, I hit the wall. And it was about how to get around it. My calves were, the only way I can describe it was exploded. And the only way I could actually move was by walking. I couldn't run because I was lifting my legs and falling onto the balls of my feet or the tops of my feet was excruciating pain. So I had to pretty much walk the last 20 kilometers. But from, I guess, all the experience that I had before, all I knew was putting one foot in front of the other. And one thing that I would always say to myself is pain is temporary. And I just had to, eat up that pain, even though it did hurt so much, because I knew at the end of the ultra marathon, I would have achieved something that not a lot of people get to say they've achieved, and that all the hard work prior, all the 12 weeks, the dedication to the training, the eating, the recovery, the long hours of running that I partook in, would be worth it. So yeah, that's just a little bit about it.
Wow. Okay. So I've probably got a couple questions about that. How long did it take you?
I think it was just under 14 hours.
Okay.
Yeah, like 1350 something. I can't remember off the top of my head.
Was it just silence? Were you listening to music? Was there people there cheering you on? Like, what did you actually do to...
Yeah, because it's a long time. I actually had a strategy for this. Um, and so the first 25 kilometers were in silence, and I had nothing, just my thoughts, and just went with it. Then from 25K to 50K was music, any music I wanted, or maybe, yeah, it was music, just music. And then from 50 kilometers to about 60, 70, this is where I planned really well. I asked prior to the actual ultramarathon, maybe about 2 weeks before, I asked I asked a good chunk of my friends, I think it was maybe 14, 15 different people in my life to send me a voice note that I can open on the day of the marathon when I'm halfway in. And when I and I call myself very smart for this because it was one of the things that during that messy middle, I wasn't thinking about anything but these voice notes. I had voice notes about people speaking to me about my culture and my history. Some were singing to me, some were telling me jokes, some were giving me motivational speeches. And one of my friends, Mikan, created a quiz for me about all of the things that I like. He's one of my closest mates, so he knows everything I like. Which was about so this the whole voice note phase took about an hour of the time. So I just remember running, but not thinking about running at all, just in my head listening to all of these different voice notes, the quiz, and just being really focused on that. And during that messy middle, which was, if I didn't have that, would have been even more.
Axing?
Yeah, it would have been very long, but yeah, that helped me to stay focused during that messy middle. And then towards the end, when I was walking from about 80 to 20, 80 to the 100K mark, I had my girlfriend and then some of my family members come and do the loop with me.
Oh.
Because I done the ultra marathon on a 6K kilometer
Oh.
route around my area. Yeah, so I could come back, have a drink of water, have some food. So yeah, it was, I had to be very smart. And one of the things I live by is fail to prepare, prepare to fail. And I over prepared. So yeah, luckily it all went
Oh.
well.
Do you wish that you'd had more voice notes to get you through the rest of it?
I wish the whole thing was
Yeah.
voice notes because that, yeah, literally the whole time I wasn't thinking about anything but the voice
That's
note.
so lovely. That just shows like how many people you obviously have in your life, but also that care about you so much and you've had such a profound impact on that they would take the time to do that for you. That's so nice. Oh man. So you obviously did you like stop and have like not like full meals, but like gel packs or like carb bars and
Yeah, yeah, so I had all that planned. They're all at the door. So pretty much every time I came back round the loop, I'd maybe grab a water, grab a gel, grab a biscuit, and then when it got to like lunchtime, have a sandwich. So I kind of knew, and my sister, thanks to her as well, she counted all my calories because obviously when you're running for that long, I think you burn,
a lot.
I think it's something near to like 10,000 calories in a day. So obviously I'm having to put more food back into my body to not be too much
Mm.
in a calorie deficit where I then pass out.
Yikes. I actually never like thought about it too much like that. I knew that you burn
Mm.
a lot of calories, but I didn't actually think like if you burn that many calories, you'd pass out. This is coming from someone who just doesn't run, like you can just tell.
Now I've seen, especially in marathons and when you're going long distance, if you're not fueled properly,
Mm.
or hydrated, you do run the risk of passing out.
Yeah, because when people used to do like swimming galas, if you did like a long swim though, people used to like swim on their backs and sip soup.
Ah, interesting.
Do you feel like now, each year, when it gets to, did you say 21st of December 2023
Mm-hmm.
and then 2024? Like now it's 2025. Do you feel like there's a bit of a pressure to do something? Like if you don't do something, sometimes people can get like depression on their birthdays when they think
Mm.
about their life like in a year's time. I say this myself included, like I woke up on my birthday and I've just felt not so great. And I wonder if obviously you did an amazing thing, which is like so cool. And obviously like something that not many people do within their lives. But now do you feel this sense of anxiety of if you don't do something, like, do you feel pressure to do something on that day?
So I'll let you know that the 21st of December 2024, I actually didn't do anything that day. And yes, there was a big pressure inside my mind to be like, what can I do next? And I have like a tracker of the months go by and my ideas of what I could do. And I had ideas, but nothing called me like the ultramarathon called me. Like I felt like I was drawn to it. It was something I was supposed to do, but I haven't felt like anything right now is ticking, like making me tick to go, yeah, I need to do that on that date. So I guess I did have to, really think about the pressure aspects because I was putting a lot of pressure on myself to think about something
Mm,
and to do something.
yeah.
Um, but yeah, I've kind of, I've taken a little bit of chill. I'm on that day. I do still push myself and do different things. Um, but yeah, I really do hear that in terms of when we put pressure on ourselves to do certain things. For this ultra marathon, I really thought that upon completion, a lot of things in my life would fall into place and I would be happy and I would, um, you know, it- I'd have achieved everything I ever wanted it to achieve. But in reality, for me, it taught me that when you achieve goals, there's something else waiting for you, and it's just a door to use as an opportunity for things to come. And especially when I think back to my Spark Inside for the prison interview, I spoke about the 100K and spoke about the challenge that it was for me, like a challenge that it was for me. And luckily now I have the job at Spark Inside. So using that sort of experience then helped me to open more doors, even though I didn't think at the time those doors would be open. So, and obviously talking about it now is another door.
Yeah. I know we've already mentioned younger you, but if younger you could like see where you are now, what do you think they'd say?
Wow. Yeah, because I've said this quite a few times. When I first started coaching, where I am now, this is why I'm trying to conceptualize my journey. But when I started coaching on like maybe the first day of the Mo course, where I am now was where I wanted to be. And when I was younger than that, I had no idea where I wanted to be. I just wanted to, be quote unquote successful, even though I didn't even know what successful meant to me. So I'd definitely say I'm proud to be where I'm at and the kind of different steps and risks that I've taken along the way, because this whole journey is a risk. Um, if I had to put it bluntly, it is a risk. But the more effort, the more hard work, the more the more of me I put into it, the more results I see come forward and more opportunities come my way, which I'm really thankful
Yeah.
for. So yeah, I'd be lying if I said I wasn't proud of where I'm at right now. But then I also want to keep going. So there's that balance of wanting to keep proving myself, keep wanting to better myself. Um, which yeah, that's another challenge I'm battling right now.
What would you say that if you feel like you've made, you are successful in your own eyes. What would you say success means to you?
Mm, I think there's a lot of different ways of defining success. For me, I think mastering your own mind is one of them, and having an experienced life so that you can then go and help others. And especially in the life that I live, being a life coach, um, the experiences that I've taken on and I've been through and the risks and all of this, they show up in our sessions. So it's not like I'm telling them to go and do something. It's just I can share something that I've done, and that can be taken on or not taken on by the person. So
I like that. Obviously, you've got so much like different cool lived experience that you are automatically like, I don't want to say role model, but like for everything that you've done, I've got it in my notes. Like this guy's kind of like Superman, and I'm like, yeah, well, it kind of is with like the amount of rare people that it would take to have done this. You kind of are.
I'm
Um,
far from Superman, but thank you.
I know, but you know what I mean. Like, just is like, not to sound so corny, but like. I don't know. If you were talking to little kids and you tried to conceptualize like how far 100K is and obviously the feeling that you got when you hit the wall at 80K, it is like I mean, obviously you're human, so you've done it, but it is like kind of like a superhuman thing because when you think about the Iron Man, that's a marathon, it's I don't know how many miles swimming and then it's cycling as well. And
A lot.
a lot of people that do that, they get a tattoo and a lot of people fail and it's a really big thing to complete the Iron Man. But like, is it the same as 100K? I don't know in the sense of how hard they both are. Either way, it's an immense achievement, and it's definitely something that you can use, like you have reference to your coaching and saying to people like, "I've done this." It is something that in will surely inspire other people to be like, "Oh, well, if he can do that, I can do it too."
Mm. I would actually say to answer your question on the Iron Man thing, I think an Iron Man would be harder than 100K, but maybe purely because the aspect of three. You've got three things you got to train for.
Yeah.
I believe it's about a 4 kilometer swim or a 5 kilometer swim. Maybe it's miles. I know it's 180K bike and then a marathon. So when you think, yeah, the marathon is 42K. So
Mm,
I mean, you can compare them
mm,
100%. I would
mm.
maybe edge it to Iron Man. Yeah.
Mm. And just for a cheeky little claim here, but the Iron Man in the UK is held in Bolton, where I'm from.
Ah.
Cheeky little plug for Bolton. It goes through the swim is in Pennington Flat, which is quite local to me. And the cycle, I was at the bottom of the hill from which they had to then cycle back up. And it's one of those really hard slog cycles where the hill just keeps
Mm,
going. But you've also mentioned, which I already know about you, that sports had a big part of in your life. Like it's not just the ultramarathon, it's not just running, but you've been involved in MMA and enjoy your MMA training and doing competitions. And I quite like watching MMA from time to time. I know how fit you have to be in order to do it and quite disciplined in order to take part. What does it mean to you, MMA? Why do you like it so much?
I actually fell in love with MMA when I was 17, when I first started. And I was a very skinny, you could even call me scrawny, little kid.
Me too.
And growing up in London, like I said, I wanted to know how to protect myself, how to, self-defend
Yeah.
if ever needed. Because obviously you hear different stories about different things going on in London. And
Hmm.
I, I tried out a few gyms, and then it was actually really weird because I went to a gym which I ended up staying at for a year and a half, and I met one of my close friends who it was just at the same time we both decided we wanted to go train MMA and learn how to fight. So then we both stayed training together for about a year and a half, and yeah, we often say to each other, we don't think we'd be as good as how we are if we weren't there together, pushing each other.
Oh.
Um, so yeah, MMA's been a big part of my life. It's an extremely humbling sport where if you're not getting punched in the face, you're getting tapped. And
Yes.
for me, I remember a lot of my early steps or early stages of my MMA, I wouldn't say career, I'd say training was going to this guy he was a blue belt, which in jiu-jitsu means you'd probably be training for about a couple years. And he would always get me. I would always tap me out. And after session after session, I would just go back to him, go back to him, go back to him, and keep getting tapped. And he was smaller than me as well. So, and I was like, okay, one day I'm gonna get this guy. He was a really nice guy. And I think it was about after about a year of training and just keep going to him, keep training with other people. I ended up getting him once, and I was like, I got you finally. Um, so yeah, that is the kind of grind of it. Um, and obviously, it's not about being better than someone else. It's about showing up for yourself and becoming a better version of yourself. And it's a grind. Um, and I guess the discipline that you learn from it, from going, the people you meet. I always say about 95% of the MMA community are really lovely, genuine, kind guys and girls. Obviously, you get the 5% that
Mm,
maybe have their egos and stuff like that. But honestly, 95% of the community is very like-minded in terms of they just want to improve themselves. They just want to become better fighters, be more skillful, and learn and
yeah.
improve. So yeah, that's why I really love it. And I would say MMA is a really um, big part of helping me to bulletproof my mindset and my way of thinking. A few things have definitely helped shape my mindset, but that definitely
Mm,
was one of them too.
kind of like one, it humbles you
Yeah.
because you got to start from a beginner like everybody else. And like you said, getting beaten up by people or tapped out. Um, but what you said about bulletproofing your mindset, is it kind of building up that resilience of, like keep going back, keep going back, keep going back, like no matter they say like you either succeed or you learn.
Mm.
And just kind of like through every time you're not quite, you didn't get to get the guy, you didn't get him to tap, he tapped you. Um, but just building up that resilience of like not feeling like that setback is a
Mm.
setback. Like it's a lesson, and next time not to do whatever you
Yeah.
did in order to get into
Lessons.
that position.
100%. Yeah, I remember on that MMA gym when I first trained at, on the door, there was a quote, and the quote said, "Do something today that your future self will thank you for." And every day going into that gym, or however many days a week it was, I would look at the door and go in, and no matter what I did, if I got someone, I hit someone in the face well, tapped them out, I done well in the drills. It was I win or I learn. Like you said, you succeed or you learn.
Mm,
And for me, I had to really live by that because
mm,
especially in an MMA gym, if you're living by I win or I lose,
yeah,
you're probably gonna end up not coming back. If it's I
yeah,
win or I learn, you're gonna come back with a fresh mind, fresh perspective every day, even if
yeah,
you're basically exhausted and knackered by the end of the training session, you know? It's a lesson.
yeah. I like that. It is I win or I learn.
Mm.
Yeah, I had a similar humbling experience when I went to uni, and I've always done competitive swimming,
Mm.
and I always thought I was really good because I'm basically unbeaten in every
Mm.
race I've done. But this was only in my local gym. And then I went to university and I joined the team, not the team, just the club, like, weekly going swimming. And they had to watch me to make sure that I could swim 25 meters. And it was just the most humbling experience of my life because they were doing the like swimming drills, which I'd actually never done before. And yeah, I was just humbled to a whole other level. of being humbled.
Could I ask how you overcame that?
How I overcame it. I just kept going.
Mm,
And I just was like, I actually eventually got awarded most improved swimmer,
mm,
which, but it also made me feel a bit rubbish because I love swimming. But I did get better and it did push me. But it does go to show, I guess, that if you are in like a little small community and you get to the best of that, and then you open yourself up to a bigger community, you kind of realize maybe you were not good to begin with. I mean, I am a great swimmer, but I didn't train whilst I was at school because I had like health issues that held me back. And the people that I was then at university with had done all those trainings. But yeah, I became a better swimmer and yeah, so I've got that to show for it and the resilience that I built up. So yeah,
mm. 'Cause yeah, you kept showing up for yourself, and then by that, yeah, it turned you into a better swimmer.
chat to you about traveling and your love of travel because you did even mention that at the beginning, saying that like you are a free spirit, you like going places, you obviously have Spanish. Do you have any favorite places to travel to?
Mm. I think one of the most fulfilling places I've been to was
Mm-hmm.
Iceland. And if you haven't been to Iceland, I would definitely say save up some money and get yourself to Iceland because the nature there, if you're a nature lover, I've never seen nature like Iceland in my life. Um, and what me and my girlfriend did was we hired out a camper van and we done the ring road because Iceland's a pretty circular country, so we just done the ring road around and saw loads of different things. The countless amounts of waterfalls they have there, which are stunning. The glacier stuff, like the Glacier Lagoon, different cities, well, different like little villages, um, and there's also like volcano stuff, so like hot water and spa, like they have
Mm,
spas that are heated through the
yeah.
volcano. I don't know that's
Geothermal,
the one.
yeah.
Yeah, couldn't think of the word. So yeah, Iceland was definitely one of my favorite holidays that I've ever been on. Because I
Mm,
love nature itself. I love going on hikes and walks, but to just be out just the whole
mm,
time um, was amazing. There was only one problem with
mm.
Iceland, and that was that it's a bit cold, but you can't complain when the name's Iceland, you know.
No, yeah. Do you have like anything in particular that you like to do when you go to a new country, like a favorite ritual?
Mm, wouldn't say I have a ritual. But I guess like just seeing the new things, and one of the things I always do for my dad is bring home a fridge magnet
Yes.
for his collection. So if there's any ritual that I have, it's to get a fridge magnet
Mm-hmm.
for my dad because he loves them.
Mm. And each year, do you go back to Spain for a month still?
So when COVID hit, so obviously I didn't go to Spain for about 2, 3 years, and then now after COVID, I go there for about a week, to the village, or about a long week. Um, which is nice because usually in that week it's when everyone in the family and the outer family will come into the village and they have like a village festival with music, barbecues, games for the kids, for the adults. So it's like a really nice village community where everyone comes together for that weekend. And we go out for meals and stuff. And it's
That's
really nice to
nice.
just meet up with the people that I don't get to see often.
And how often would you say you use your Spanish?
Oh, all the time. Not, I mean, more often than not now, the young kids growing up can speak English, but all of the older people are Spanish only. Um, but I guess it's fine because I can communicate with them.
I just mean on like
So
a
yeah,
day-to-day basis. Obviously, your mum taught you Spanish. Just curious, like,
yeah.
do you speak with her in Spanish a lot on like a daily basis? How much would you say you speak Spanish?
I'll probably say about half and half. So I should probably speak to her more in Spanish, but just I think just because maybe laziness on my part, I don't, which I should speak to her in Spanish more. Um, but yeah, there's I guess it's a lot of English in my life, but I do have friends that are learning Spanish, so sometimes I'm helping them with Spanish too, and way of framing sentences and
Mm,
structuring and things and
yeah,
verbs, because even I get confused with the verbs sometimes.
conjugate those verbs.
Yeah, yeah.
You've mentioned your girlfriend a little bit. What would you say? How has her like support or having her in your life like helped you or impacted you take on new challenges? How important do you think it is to have like a supportive partner?
100%. And yeah, she's been with me. I've been with her 5 years now, and that was before coaching. So she's kind of been on the journey with me. And I actually remember it was her and a very close friend of mine were very vocal in pushing me to do more, and pushing me to keep pushing my limits to reach more things. And they would always say to me, "You can do more than what you're doing right now. Don't limit yourself." And yeah, she was a very big factor in that, and very supportive in taking time to listen to me and understand where I'm at and trying to figure out where I want to go, because I didn't even know where I wanted to go at the time. And yeah, we've shared so many positive experiences together. Traveling being one of them. Like Iceland, it was me and her. And other places. We've been to quite a few places now. So it's nice to be able to share with someone the experiences that you're going on, and having a person that, if something's wrong, you can let them know, um, whether that be within the relationship or out of the
Yeah,
relationship, you can have an open and honest conversation. Um, and she's very intelligent. So yeah, I'm very happy.
that's so nice. I just think it's so important with everything like you've achieved to understand like it's just so important to have supportive people in your life and partners in particular. And like,
Mm,
yeah, it's just so nice to know that your partner's been a part of that and been supporting you and even pushing you to do more. Like, that's really cool.
yeah, maybe if she wasn't there, I wouldn't have done some of the things that I've done now. Yeah, she challenges me a lot to be better, and to not accept um like complacency in myself.
Mm,
So yeah, she's a neuroscientist, so she works with the brain a lot. So yeah, she's very intelligent in that regard
mm,
and in life.
mm. Damn. No, that's so cool. Yeah, is there anything else you'd like to add?
Yeah, I think one of the things that really helped me get through battling anxiety was recognizing and giving myself the permission to be human. And what I mean by that is we have all these different kind of emotions, happy, sad, negative emotions like frustration, anger, grief. And sometimes it's okay to feel those emotions, because if we didn't feel those emotions, we'd either be dead people or psychopaths. So by recognizing that those emotions will come for you just by being human, it's going to help to alleviate that anxiety, alleviate that pressure that maybe you're putting on yourself. Because sometimes you may be feeling all the emotions under the sun, maybe feeling overwhelmed, and then other times you may be feeling nothing. Nothing's coming through. You're just feeling flat. And it's okay to be in either part or somewhere in the middle.
Mm,
So yeah, I'd definitely say to recognize and give ourselves that permission to be human.
yeah. No, thank you for sharing that. Reflection, that's such a great reflection to add, and I thank you for sharing that because we're only human, we're not perfect, we make mistakes, we have human emotions, and that's okay.
Couldn't put it better myself.
Oh. Oh, it's been so lovely to have you, Luke. Thank you for so many of all those different insights. I really appreciate it.
Oh, well, thanks for having me on. And I always love to give back to Mo, because this is where my coaching journey started. So, yeah, pleasure to be here. And yeah, really appreciate you, Kate, as well.
Thank you for listening to this episode of Podventures on the Mo podcast. I am Kate, your co-host alongside Alex. If after listening to today's episode you feel compelled to share your story, please email info@mofoundation.com we would love to hear your story and have you here as a guest on the podcast. If you have been enjoying the Mo podcast, please do leave a review. It helps the team so much understand what you want to hear more of, what type of guest speakers you enjoy. If you want to recommend a guest speaker who you think we should be talking to, let us know. We will endeavour to feature them. If you love Mo so much that you don't ever want to miss an update, subscribe to our channel so that you will be notified every time a new episode comes out and you won't miss a thing. And don't forget to answer today's question.